Welcome to HRSi from Recruitment Force. Hopefully you've just received an email letting you know what your password details and that either your trial or your software has been activated. All you need to now do is follow the instructions from the email to getting you to the login page. At the login page you just need to type in the details as was on your email. So let me talk you through that. So we'll type in a login and password and click the login button or the return key to enter into the system. So as you'll see, this is the front page. This is where the details of your database, the proactive information from your system will preside. All this information can be pre-configured to any login, to any user, so you can move them around as you wish, putting whichever file, whichever bit of information you'd like to have on the front page of your database. We've got the Add Widget button, which allows you to pick and choose which of these widgets you would like to have or add your own extra ones as you wish. It's cookie controlled, so obviously each time you log in it will be exactly as you've set it up. So this is the front page. At the top of the database you'll see there's access to the other main tables in the system. We have access to the people, jobs and the admin section, and even an area to do some searching through LinkedIn. So that's the front page, very simply. Let's go firstly to the administration section, where you'll be able to get a few little things organized for your system. Firstly, manage consultants. Here you can create new consultants. There will be a list of the consultants in the system as you first log in, and you can create your own users by simply clicking on the Add New Consultant on the left hand side button here. You can also manage the default data. So this is the information that's been put in based on the drop down. So CV source, for example, you've got a bunch of CV source, click on the plus button to add whatever CV source you'd like. Job status, job titles, etc. They're all the default data. We also have templates here, so we've got a list of templates and you can go in, edit, change whatever you'd like some of these templates. So let's go and have a look at one of them. A little bit of information there relating to sending a CV to a client, and the text that will be added to that email. Default text will always be provided with every single email that you send. It's just free text, so you can change it as you wish, but it just helps you get started. Placements will be listed in this little tab once you've created a few placements, and then also we have the interview schedule as things start happening with your interviews, and then we have an area to create reports. At the moment this area will be blank, as you're about to see, but it will allow us, once we've started putting in some information, it will allow us to go through and hopefully you'll see that once we've put some information in, how that information will be reported on. So let's go back to our consultant tab and we'll open up our consultant record. Here we can put in our signature. As you've seen, I've got a little bit of information there. You can add choose a file if you wish for your image. You can set up your Twitter account. As you see, we've got RecForce Twitter there, date of hire, whatever it might be. And once completed, you hit the save button. You can also change your password here in the top right hand corner. We've got the password confirmations there. So that's that. Now let's actually go through the database and show you how some bits of the database perform. So let's have a little look at what's happening in the people file, or let's have a look at people in the database. So we click on the people tab and we'll notice that it's a blank record. We've got the search window open and then no record showing at the bottom, as is all the other parts of the database, the companies and the jobs. So let's firstly put a candidate in the system, which we can do from two things. We've got the function tabs on the left hand side. Here you can add a candidate. You can also add a candidate or a contact from the right hand side as well. So let's add a candidate, so click on the Add Candidate button and we get a blank record, completely blank, and we can import the CV by clicking on the Import CV tab. Choose the culture that we're going to pass that CV from, so I'll say United Kingdom, and then we'll click on the Choose Candidate and I'll see if I can find some CVs. Should have some CVs set up in the database. Let's just quickly go through CVs. Here we go, we've got, well, let's put in the very first CV I can see. and all we need to do is click on the button that says Get Details, and instantly the database is extracted. Name, whatever it's found, postcode, address, current job, job title. As you can see on the right hand side here, this CV has no email and no phone number on the front, hence the reason why it hasn't found a phone number and email and put it in. You can also, of course, cut and paste any information from the right hand side here and add it to that part of the left hand side of the database as you wish. We've also got the job history underneath as well, so everywhere this particular person has worked is now also sitting in the database. All we now need to do is click Save, and that information has been recorded and is stored against the candidate's record. Very quickly you can click on the CV and Docs tab, and that will show you the information that was extracted. So that's the CV text there. So you can scroll through and see the CV text. You can also launch the CV, which will download it into your Dropbox or into your download folder. And you can add any other documents you wish on the right hand side by clicking on the plus button there. So we've now got a record that is instantly searchable. If I click on the job history tab, you'll notice that the history as well that's been extracted from that record and has been populated. And if you hover over any part of the information from those portals, it will show you the information that's stored within that file. So that's the record. You can now go in and add some information. So I'll just put in an email address. Let's put in Adam@repforce.com, and obviously if you had a phone number you could add that to the database, and then click Save when complete. You must always click the Save button for the record to be automatically saved. One other thing you'll notice is in this top right hand corner here we've also got a summary that has been found from the parsing. So we now know just from the parsing information that this person has experience within concentrated within an accounting environment. So that's just been found. It says that he also has 14 years of work experience. The other thing we can do, if we go back to well, we don't have to go to CV and Docs tab, we've got a little button at the bottom that says Export to PDF. So if I click on that little button there, the database will instantly create a PDF version of that CV. So it gathers as much information as it can from the record and automatically creates a PDF CV. And this is what the PDF CV looks like. Your logo is at the top right hand corner, and then the information picked up from the job and the additional information populated at the bottom. So you get an instant CV that you can now populate or send to your client. So that's done instantly. That's part of the record. So in a few seconds you've now created a record. If we go back to list view, you'll now see we've got this one record in our database ready to do whatever we wish to do. I'm going to show you how to bulk parse as well. So let's just go into the database and put more than one CV in, for example. So again, click on the people function button or the add button on the right hand side and choose bulk parsing. So it'll bring us to this little window where again we choose the culture that we want to parse from. As you can see, there are a few different cultures there, and then we'll add the files that we want to parse. So in this case, hopefully we've got a few CVs. I think I've got some on my desktop actually. CVs to parse, where are we? Okay, no I don't. Let's go back into let's take all of these actually. We'll just take all these CVs, they're all real CVs, open them up, and you'll see that we have a list of CVs here ready to go. You can remove any one of these, any CV that you're not happy with or you don't want to import, and then click on the upload files, and these records will instantly start being parsed and will be uploaded very quickly into the database. As you can see, there are I don't know, there were 12 CVs total files, and this file path size will be sitting there, and in less than 5-10 seconds we've had 12 CVs automatically parsed, and none of them had failed because of duplication. Obviously if you've got duplicated records they will not be parsed automatically. So let's go into the people file and have a look. We've now got a whole bunch of records that have been tagged as unregistered. So basically these CVs that have been tagged as unregistered are the ones that have been bulk passed into the system. So it's advisable to then go through and do a bit of homework, I suppose, with these records and just make sure that you're happy with it. So you'll see on the right hand side, the CV source tab, you can change that to wherever you've got that CV from, so web application, a Google search, or a job application. Click save, and that record's there. Again, we've got the summary, so that particular person's summary has been found. We've got phone numbers, emails are all sitting there, and we've got the original document from that particular past candidate. So that information is instant and passed, and in a few minutes we've now got a whole load of candidates in the database. It's that simple to get you started. Searching for these records, for example, we can see some information here. Let's just do a little bit of searching. If we go into one of these records, we'll just see in the CV and Docs area. And just to confirm also, you'll see that the job history has also been populated. So let's go into CV and Docs tab, and we'll see that there's some stuff here. Let's say I'm just trying to find something. Apple Mac skills we've got there. So let's search for Apple Mac skills. So click on the search button, and you'll see a bunch of information open up that allows you to do searching in any capacity. So very firstly, we could just search for unregistered CVs and hit the search button, and we should end up with these candidates. Let's close this window. The unregistered candidates only. So they automatically populate from that search. We can go back into our search and now add anything to that criteria. So we could add, as you can see, we've got name, position, sort, the ID, the employment market, current job titles. At the moment we've got the unregistered, so I'm going to reset this search, so that will clear that criteria. And we're going to go into the CV text, and we're going to do a search for Apple Mac. So we've got the Apple Mac, and you can do a range of ands, ors, and nots within the Apple Mac, and the same for skill sets. And then you can also even add your own search criteria if you wanted to add from any one of these fields in any capacity, from equals to blanks to contains. So let's do a little search for that. Apple Mac. We'll close our little search window, and we'll see that that one record that we were looking for with Apple Mac skills is now there. So what we don't have at the moment is a job, a company record or a job. As you can see, the short listing of jobs, there's nothing there. So let's create a job. We'll go to the company file. There's no company at the moment. Let's just quickly create a company. So we'll just call this RecForce, or let's call it Recruitment Force Limited. Obviously you can fill in this information as best you wish, or leave it development, we'll leave it blank if you wish. You can put in an address, a postcode. The more information you put in, obviously the better. We'll put in whether this is a client, a redundant supplier. Let's put in the supplier, whatever their turnover is. There's a lot of information here that can be populated. Your Twitter, let's put in RecForce. If you had a Facebook or LinkedIn account, you can also add those straight away. And as you can see, there's a lot of information here. You can add notes, additional information, any jobs that are here, and any communication, Twitter feeds, logs, whatever, will all be sitting here. So let's save that information. You now see we've got a company record. It's not a lot of information there at the moment, but we're going to literally just create a job. So I'm going to firstly create a contact for that job. So clicking on the plus button for the contact links it to Recruitment Force. So let's put in the title, say it's Carl, surname is Ronas, and we can put in as much information as we wish in here. So primary number, 347557775, and so forth. Private email, it's carl@recforce.com, and any personal information we'd like to add. Obviously the position, we can say product director, and department, what I recruit for, method of communication. You can pick and choose from this information. When you're happy with that, save, and we now have a contact that is associated with that record. So let's go back to our company record, open up our company, and we'll now see we have one contact there. We can go to that person, so the triangulation of these records is instant. We can go back to the company by clicking on the company record there. We can now make the primary contact. Should we have had 3 or 4 different contacts there, we could add one of the contacts as a primary contact in this particular record. So let's save again. We'll go to the job file, and this time we're going to create a job directly from the company record. So click on the plus button. That's automatically created a job that it's linked to Recruitment Force. We're now going to add a hiring manager to that. We've only got one, so we'll click Carl and say put his information in there. We'll put a job start date, so today, vacancy count, we'll just say it's 1 vacancy, job title is sales manager. We can fill in as much of this information as we wish, so 30k with an OTE of 50. Any benefits, whatever it might be, we can just keep adding as much information as we'd like to this particular job. Let's put in an end date, not that it matters because it's not a contract, but and the location we can say is London. Employment market software IT. So we've got a bit of information here. We can also go through, put in the various fees that we might have, a client reference, educational skill sets, whatever. There's a lot of information we can add to this job. Just going to click on the save button, and you notice it'll instantly put in the next job ID number that we have set up for the system. So that's a job created. Now we can go back to our candidates, and we've got a list of them. Let's reset the search so that you'll notice it always goes back and gives you that search count, so you always are playing with those records that you wish. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can do a search, get a list of results, and add these guys to that particular job, or we can do them individually. But I'm going to do them in bulk. So let's go back and put in all our unregistered CVs. So we'll go back, unregistered, search for our unregistered guys. We get all these chaps. We're going to pick and choose from the open jobs we have. We're going to shortlist all these candidates. I'm going to pick that job. I'm going to flag all these candidates, so they're all flagged, and now I'm going to shortlist them to this particular job. So you get a little list of all the candidates going forward, say OK, and they will now be added to that job. So let's go to the job. I've only got one job, so it's pretty easy to find these jobs, and we'll now notice that in that job we've got our candidates shortlisted. So from here it's very simple to start the workflow, which allows you to do a number of things like sending candidate CVs and so forth to a client. So I'll show you how that works. We'll click on the workflow tab, click on the plus button, and we can now pick a candidate. So they will give you a list of all your shortlisted candidates. So let's pick the very top one, and we'll add that to the workflow. So we've now got a particular candidate, Simon Gales. The CV has not been sent, but we have a candidate that's been moved from our long list into our workflow. Clicking on the arrow next to that will open up the workflow where you can send. Clicking on any one of these buttons will carry out the procedure of what you're looking to do. So send CV to the client will automatically open up an email going to the client. You can put in the candidate or the client's email, so we'll put in the client's email. This is obviously me. So as you can see, this particular candidate's information has been updated. His CV has been sent, and we can save this now and move on. So if we go to the candidates record, let's go and find that particular candidate's record. And there's 2 ways of doing that. Obviously, you can go to the people file and find the person, or you can go to the job file and click on the triangulation link back to that candidate, which is what I'm going to do. And you'll see that from the candidates record, we'll see that firstly, the candidate's now been added to that workflow. So we've got Recruitment Force Limited, the job ID, and the progress that he has been put forward to the job. Now if the client came back to you and said, great, we'd set up an interview, all you need to do is click on again the arrow next to the workflow, or you can do it from the job. So we'll do it from the candidates window this time, and now you can set up an interview confirmation letter, or set up an offer, whatever it might be. Just for the purposes of this, I'll just quickly set up an interview letter. So that's going to Simon. Congratulations, you've got a job. Here are the details of the job. We'll add Simon's information. You can CC it to yourself if you want, or to the client, and send. I won't actually send this. Let's cancel that window. and that's the workflow. Once you've got to the stage where you've put quite a few people through in jobs, you can then run a report, as we were talking about earlier. You can go to the admin section, click on View Reports, and if we go into the report, you type in your details, your password, log in, choose the date range. So I'll just go from yesterday to, okay, let's go to yesterday to today, which hopefully should give us what we've done. Click Generate Report. So in generating the report, this is what we see. Obviously the consultants will be listed on the left hand side and all the records they've created. Jobs created, as you can see, one which I just created, the CV submitted, just created, and then you get an average graphic display of what you've been up to. So CV requests between obviously the amount of time it takes to getting a job and putting a CV forward is sitting here in nice little fancy information. So as that report builds up, as the data builds up in the system, so will the report. So let's go back to our database, and also on our home page, if we look at our front page, we'll now see that we've had one CV sent. We haven't got any hot candidates, so let's quickly just tag a hot candidate, and I'll show you how that information works. We'll just pick one of these guys out of here. We'll change him from being unregistered to being a JobServe CV, tag him as a hot candidate, and save that record. And now if we go to our home page, you'll very quickly see that we have a hot candidate sitting in that list. We also have an open job for a sales manager role, and our workflow also that we've got open and on the go is for that sales manager role. So that's a brief overview of how the database works. Do call us at www.recruitmentforce.com should you need any further information. Our details are there.